idea that existed, and that's how interested, which is called el Fuerte de la Santísima Trinidad. So I include that in the book as well, and they have to look for clues in all these places, the Freemasons, following a degree in Freemasonry called the Mark degree.
Mm-hmm.
So the clues are related to the Mark degree, and these again are things that you can find on the internet. So I don't think I'm disclosing anything that people cannot find on their own. But the Mark degree has a particularity, that is that they mention the keystone that is within the arcs. So they have to look for arcs on these settlements.
Tell me, Amilcar, what is the sort of the line through? I mean, we're going and we're sort of doing all this discovery.
Yes.
But what is it that makes them do this? Is there a sort of an end story?
Of course.
Have we got a murder in there somewhere?
Well, there's that story.
Not yet, but it's coming.
Yeah. That's a great question. When I write these books, I want to make sure that they feel organic, that they are not forced, that these guys, they are just running around, all of a sudden they have a mission. That doesn't make sense, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Exactly.
in this third book, what I do is, in the first one, they had an old sage or an older master, that they were really, they care about him a lot, Ol Martinez. So in the third book, he actually dies. And when they go to the ceremony, the Lodge of Sorrow, at the end of the temple, they get a lawyer reach out to them and tell them that there's actually something that he left for them.
Oh, okay.
And that's how the story begins.
Mm-hmm.
So since he was so important for them in their lives, they are really far from they are no longer active in the order, but they have really good memories of him because he was an old master. And that's like an archetype we always have. Always young Masons, when we go in, we always meet this master that we never forget. That master that is an old sage, that he takes his time to teach them, etc. So it's the archetype of the old master that they still, even though they are not active in the lodge, they remember with a lot of love, So they receive this information from him where he requires their assistance to do something and look for something that, since he died, he didn't have the time to find, so they decide to do it and pursue that mission in a way. And that's how this starts. But as they start looking for the clues and all this information, they notice that there's something else that is more sort of mystical or esoteric that they cannot understand.
Mm-hmm.
But as they move on, they start discovering this, because one of the key persons, sort of, it's not a character because it's a real person that I mentioned in the book, is Pedro Arias Dávila.
Mm-hmm.
Pedro Arias Dávila, most of us know him as the founder of Panama la Vieja.
Right.
But he was an interesting character when you start researching. Right now it's an accomplishment to have more than 90 years. Now, back then in the 16th centuries, he actually died with more than 90 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, that was amazing accomplishment.
Sure.
And he was not a person who was afraid of facing death, because he fought against the Moros in Spain. When he arrived to Panama, he went to Darien with more than 1,000 people, Spanish, and 90% died, and he was alive. So he came from Segovia, and in Segovia he came from a family that were crypto Jews, which were Jews that converted to Catholicism, but there are a lot of information that actually shows that they kept practicing Judaism, their religion. And in 1492, when Columbus left Spain to the New World, that was the same year in which the Jews were expelled from Spain. So there's a lot of controversy about these people who came to the New World that actually had this background. And I mix a little bit of that mysticism, since everything that we know today about Kabbalah, that is now everyone talks about Kabbalah, didn't really begin in the Middle East. It came from Spain.
Okay.
The Kabbalah started in Sepharad. One of the biggest Kabbalists, Moshe, I don't remember the last time, was from Sepharad, from Spain. And there's a lot of mysticism that has to do with the Temple of Solomon, etc., which is also a center figure in these orders like Freemasonry. So I mix a little bit that mysticism from the Jewish Freemasonry, the figure of Solomon, which there are many old books that are not part of the traditional books that mention him, even in the Quran, and they call it Sulaiman, which they didn't only mention that he was very wise, but he was a great magician that could control even demons. So in this story, I kind of go a little bit to that area of the supernatural with these Freemasons in Panama looking for the clues, and trying to do like an end for this trilogy where I present information that is really interesting and I know readers will really enjoy.
Excellent. I mean, the thing is, isn't it? What sort of comes to light, I guess, with this is like so many things here in Panama. Is Panama is quite minuscule when it comes to size, and but the history here is
amazing.
Incredible. I mean, in so many aspects. And of course, the things like you say, the Masonic history is as well. You mentioned the lodges, the Scottish lodges,
yes.
and then you've got sort of U.S. Lodges, which, and in a lot of ways, I guess, with the generosity of the Panamanian Masons, the Grand Lodge of Panama, enables this to exist.
Yes, yes, that's
and
right.
To be a real sort of, like I say, real fraternity. Did you sort of uncover anything when you were looking at this that you had no idea about, that sort of turned up, that was like, oh gosh?
I uncovered a lot of things, which I'm not sure if I should mention, but definitely I did. Mm-hmm. For example, in the second book, I uncovered Chinese Freemasons, the Chinese Freemasons here in Panama.
Okay.
When I started noticing that they existed here, I started asking questions, which is the regular questions as a Freemason you ask is, okay, so where did they get their charter? Where did they came from? But in China, Freemasonry is not accepted. So what the hell, what's going on here? So when you start researching, you notice that they are not really Freemasons, but they sort of adopt that name to blend, but they have another origin and they are active in Panama. So those sort of things. And you're like, okay, so let's keep it like that and just stay away a little bit. But that was something interesting. The second thing was finding all these places in Panama that I was not aware that existed, especially a fort that is, when the Panama Canal was constructed, a lot of settlements were flooded with water, but not only settlements, but also forts like San Lorenzo from the Spanish time. People have no idea those exist. So if you actually go and dive in, on that lake, you can actually find treasures or boats or ships from that back then.
Oh, yeah.
So it's amazing.
It's a great dive. I mean, a lot of people come here to dive because they still have the locomotives
exactly
on the tracks. So it's incredible. Look, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to have a musical break and we'll be back with our guest, Amilcar Gotti, after this. And there we go, that's Bailey Zook, and Judy Zook, she made a record, and that is, it's featuring Bailey Zook, and the name of the band is Freemasons.
Oh really?
Yeah, there you go.
Interesting.
Normally, sometimes I play that, and then I play a piece of music by the 3 Degrees. So
there's a pattern there.
There's
definitely some yeah.
So I mean, okay, this is the trilogy, and you found a way of sort of ending it. So what is next?
What is next? That's a good question.
This is hey, let me get this one out of the way first.
Yeah.
But you must have the itch now to. We're going to have another Da Vinci Code in Panama, right?
Well, I don't know. I want to dedicate myself and take the time to start seeing how we can make these books known, not only here in Panama but outside Panama as well. And my dream is somehow get in touch with someone where we can discuss the possibility of adapting these stories, either to a streaming service platform or to a movie. And people is really at the beginning I didn't thought about it at all, but the readers they keep telling me, listen, you need to adapt this to a movie. This is crazy. This is amazing because I showcase so many places in Panama. The information about Freemasonry is so universal, and also the actual stories. When I wrote them, I thought about them as they were actually like movies. That's how I write. I close my eyes and it's like I'm seeing something on the TV. That's why somehow my books, they have such a active pace. You know, I don't stay too long in a chapter describing the sea or the building. I just go and cut to the chase and next, you know, because that's how I am. I'm very active that way. And so they are really good material to be adapted somehow. And that's what I would really like to do in the future. So let's see what happens.
Well, you know, any of us that are listening that are involved, come on. We make good movies here in Panama.
Yeah.
That would respect. Hey, I've got a question. One of our listeners,
Sure.
Dane. Good morning to Dane. He says, "Good morning, Gerry D. I have a question on the topic. Is the order, you might have come across this, is the Order of Malta, which I've seen have a place in Casco Viejo. Is this another one of those lodges?"
Well, the Order of Malta, that's a good story. I actually, in my account, Amilcar Gotti Escritor in Instagram, I uploaded a video about the Order of Malta.
Okay.
The Order of Malta, they split in the 16th centuries. And there's the Order of St. John, which is, it came from the Order of Malta that is under England. And we have the Order of Malta, which was actually adopted by the Russians. And there's an Order of Malta which is under the Vatican. The one that is located in the Church of San Felipe Neri, which is the one he's referring to, is under the Vatican. And actually, if you go to the Vatican, there are people that even mention that it is sort of the smallest country within the smallest country, because you have your own passport, you have your own currency there. But there are several Order of Malta. There's one that is very active in Spain. There's one that is very active in all over the world, which is the one he's referring to under the Vatican. And there's the Order of St. John, which is the Grand Master, is the King of England in this case, but it's the Order of Malta. But they are completely separate. They are fraternal orders, just like the Freemasons, that the members need to go through rituals of initiation and different degrees, but they are not lodges per se.
Did you find in any of your investigations or sort of delving into things, mention of things, because you know one person, oh yes, well there's always the very sort of mysterious and the Illuminati.
Yes.
Is there any evidence you saw, anything there?
Well, the Illuminati existed. Adam Weishaupt was the main, the creator of this group, and he actually wanted to get rid of the royalty. Some people speculate that they actually, after it was the order was destroyed or whatever, they went in to the United States, and they were part of they went into and blended into Freemason orders, lodges. But as the actual Illuminati per se, that order that was established no longer exists. Maybe they exist with a different number and a different name.
That we know of.
Exactly, that we name. No, that's correct. So the answer is they, with that name existed, they may continue existing, but trust me, they are no longer called Illuminati. I can tell you that for sure.
So tell me, because you're very sort of open. You go to the book fairs. Now you're going to be at the book fair most
Yes.
of the time this week. What day is it you've got your book signing?
Okay, so my books are gonna be on the Feria del Libro in stand 5. I'm gonna also be signing books in different stands. I'm gonna be in the stand Nuevas Voces on Wednesday from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m. Then on the stand Nuevas Voces on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. I'm gonna be in the stand of Ser TV at 5 p.m. on Friday, and El Hombre de la Mancha on Sunday 18 at 1 p.m. But I'm gonna do a presentation that is gonna be open for anyone who is inside the fair on Saturday 17th of August at 3 p.m. in the Salon Chocoe Bejuco. I repeat, Saturday 17th at 3 p.m. It's gonna be a 1 hour presentation with a lot of information. I don't know how I'm gonna bundle all that information, but the hell, I'm gonna do it somehow.
Write a book about it.
Well, exactly. No, but I'm gonna talk about not only the research I've done from all my 3 books,
Right.
but also additional information that is not in the book. And then after that presentation, I will be selling my books, signing my books as well. Los Secretos del Acta, El Amanecer de Llanos, and my new book, Rasgando el Velo de la Marca. So I hope you visit us, and we can connect and talk. But if you want all the details, you can follow me in the Instagram account, Amilcar Gotti Escritor, in Instagram, Amilcar Gotti Escritor, when I am going to be posting all this in detail.
Okay, no, wonderful. And the book, I've just pointed it, the book is in Spanish and in English.
Yes, sir.
So there we go.
Yes, you can purchase in Amazon as well, in Kindle or in physical hard copy. All the books are in English and Spanish. The last book, called Rasgando el Velo de la Marca, is called in English Tearing the Veil of the Mark. It's available. And on the fair, hopefully, I will have a couple of units in English, but in Amazon they are available, of course.
Okay. Now the other interesting thing is, because you're very open, and the topic you've written about, it can be with some people quite divisive. What has been the reaction to the public when you're sort of at these events? People come up and obviously want to know more, want to talk to you. What kind of reactions have you had?
It's interesting. At the beginning, there was a lot of curiosity on the books, on the information I presented, because I present information from the order from the inside. There's a lot of speculation and people that write about the order, but they never step inside a temple, or they never even talk to a Freemason. So there's a lot of garbage out there. But when I mention the order, I talk about also the internal disputes that there are within the order, where people don't discuss about that. And people sort of appreciate that point of view, which is different, is refreshing. And also the part that has to do with the history of Panama, which has to do a lot with the orders, and people like to ignore it or are afraid of discuss it. But always in this first and second book, they always end up asking the same question, or carefully trying not to be too open about, so what about the mysticism or the esoteric part of the order, So an answer to that precisely is the third book, where I go more in deep into that part, the esoteric, the mysticism part of the order. But most of my readers are women, which is interesting. It's very interesting. I have ladies who reach out to me, really appreciating the material, so that's surprising for me. And I have a lot of readers that are Freemasons as well, which is nice, because of course, I'm afraid of what they are gonna think about. But so far, everyone is being really, really positive. So that is very good for me to hear about. So it's the feedback. It's been really positive, and they received the material really, really well.
What I find interesting is that when people think of Freemasonry, and when you look at other organizations, people say, well, the Freemasons rule the world, and they do this and they do that, and the thing to us, well, who's the head of Freemasonry?
Yeah,
there isn't one.
Yeah,
there is no head of Freemasonry.
Exactly.
It's an interesting response. They normally sort of look at you and say, well, there is no Pope, there is no king, there is no queen, there is nothing. It's very, very well, and it functions so well too.
It's amazing, because if people knew that sometimes in the order we don't even can decide on what menu we can have in a banquet or things like that. Imagine if we could sit down and program and plan the entire the whole world economy. That doesn't happen. The real people that you have to be afraid of are the people that people don't talk about. Actually, they are glad that people keep thinking and pointing fingers to Freemasons, because that way that move the attention away from them, and those are the people we have to be more careful about.
Okay, well look, let's brought us to the end. We're running over a little bit actually. Amilcar Gotti, thank you so very much for being with us this morning. We'll be reminding everybody that where you're going to be and when. And do go and get a copy of the books. To say, if you can go to the Hombre de la Mancha, etc., those places, or as the good lady does, she goes on to Amazon and puts the books on Kindle. Anyway, we've got to go. Big thanks once again to Amilcar and also to Yasmin this morning here in Breakfast Show Studio doing our production. She's gone off to an event. And also to, well, of course, to Ingrid for checking in for our Everyday Story of Country Folk today. And also our co-producer Neil Danby over in the United Kingdom. To Isaac and the boys and girls at Group Agrado, who's going to be switching over to the Cool FM studio in a moment, the other one. And also stay tuned, by the way. Coming up next is Gigi with True Chat SOSE, bringing you interesting guests in essential topics such as finance, beauty, love, home, mums, entrepreneurship, and social responsibility. And a big thanks to all of you, listeners, advertisers, and sponsors, for being with us here on 89.3 Cool FM for the Breakfast Show. Just please remember, tomorrow's Friday, 7 o'clock, back with you. Whatever it is you're going to be doing between now and then, do it carefully. I want to be talking to you tomorrow, not talking about you. From me, Gerry D. Till then.